on the ground, but the latest we're hearing now is that there could be fatalities of foreign nationals. We're hearing that a youth hostel in the center of town has collapsed and many foreign nationals are said to be trapped there. So that could increase the number killed, and this time of foreign nationals. Things are, the cleanup operation is not underway yet. It's very much a search and rescue operation, and that is being hampered and made even more difficult by a new issue that's arising. Now, during the earthquake, a lot of water pipes burst, sidewalks and roads split. Now we're hearing that water and mud and silt are oozing out through those sidewalks, through the roads, making it difficult for rescue workers to get to where they need to and get to the people that they need to. We're also hearing that they've run out of ambulances, and police are driving in their own cars because they've run out of vehicles and equipment trying to get to people. Triage centers have been set up in many areas deemed safe. The central business district has pretty much been evacuated now. The government is calling on all people to leave that are not necessary in the area. Screams are still being heard as under collapsed buildings. The main church, the Christchurch Cathedral, has also collapsed. Now, that was spared in the previous earthquake in September, but that's now been said to have been reduced to rubble, and people are still said to be trapped under there. So very much a full-on search and rescue operation underway, with a picture of devastation emerging.
Well, of course, we'll come back to you, Divya, as that situation develops. Thanks very much for joining us from Kuala Lumpur. Well, back now to Libya, where there have been small rallies and demonstrations in several US cities in solidarity with the protesters in the country. AlJazeera's Rob Reynolds attended one of them in Los Angeles, California, and sent this report.
Libyans and Libyan Americans in Los Angeles demonstrated in solidarity with the anti-government uprising in their homeland. They chanted, waved flags, and held signs denouncing Libyan ruler Colonel Muammar Gaddafi.
We want to see the end of Gaddafi. He's been in power for 42 years. It's enough. He's killing our people.
He has to realize what damage he done all these years to the country that we loved.
Libyans here say watching the violent attacks by security forces on protesters back home has made them fearful for the lives of their friends and family.
I'm terrified. We're all sick with worry. Most of us haven't slept since Tuesday.
1, 2, 3, 4, Gaddafi! The protesters say U.S. President Barack Obama should speak out forcefully against Gaddafi.
He's always talking about freedom, justice, everything. Right now, he just saw the Libyan kills everywhere, and he did nothing.
Despite their fear and anger, Libyans here seem confident that a better Libya will emerge from the bloodshed.
Libyans want democracy, Arabs want democracy, the whole world wants democracy, and I think they're going to get it.
Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
I'm Sahil Rahman, and you're watching Al Jazeera's continuing coverage of the uprising in Libya. Let's bring you up to speed with what's been happening. The United Nations Security Council will be holding a closed-door meeting on Libya on Tuesday. Now, the Arab League is also expected to hold emergency talks. This is as Libya's leader Muammar Gaddafi appeared on Libyan state television denying rumours that he'd fled to Venezuela. He also referred to the media as misleading dog stations. And live fire has allegedly been used against protesters in the capital. We're getting reports that 250 people have been killed on Monday alone. Also reports of airstrikes in Tripoli and the city of Azway and Misrata. Meanwhile, 2 senior Libyan Air Force officers have flown their fighter jets into Malta and defected. They say they were ordered to bomb protesters. And it's not just Air Force officers who are deserting. As many as 9 Libyan diplomats around the world have also resigned. We'll continue our ongoing coverage of the chaos in Libya. Do stay with us here on Al Jazeera.
Hello everyone, this is People in Power and I'm Summer El-Shahat. On today's programme, blood and dust.
The aim of this helicopter isn't to fix you, it's to keep you alive. And they do that by trying to keep everything working by treating the body as a container, making sure it doesn't lose more liquids, and if it has lost too much, trying to replace them quickly. Trying to reduce the shock, trying to address pain, and trying to ensure that they contain the body so it can cope by staying alive.
This summer, the US plans to start reducing its troop numbers in Afghanistan, a sign many hope that NATO's war against the Taliban will one day end. However, no one is under any illusions that that will happen soon. And in the meanwhile, the number of combatants and civilians killed and wounded is growing. Few people understand what this means in reality better than the medevac personnel who helicopter out across the country to pick up casualties, often under fire themselves. But what is it like aboard one of these units? Veteran freelance cameraman Vaughn Smith spent 2 weeks embedded with the paramedics of the US Army's 214th Aviation Regiment. He came back with footage that reveals both the shocking consequences of war and the remarkable skill, dedication and even-handedness of those providing care. Where we weren't able to get permission to show the faces of the injured, we have obscured their identities. Some of the images you're about to see are deeply disturbing.
He was going into shock.